Okay, so let's unpack this ASUS ROG Xbox Ally X. We've got a bunch of sources here, and they're pretty much all calling it the new benchmark for handheld gaming PCs.
Right.
So our mission really is to figure out why. What makes this specific Ally X the standard setter? What's actually new?
Well, the really fascinating insight, I think, is that it's not just about the hardware this time. It's the software angle.
Ah, okay.
The Ally X is launching first with Microsoft's Xbox full screen experience. FSE, they're calling it.
FSE.
Think of it like this. Windows Explorer, the normal desktop, it's like this huge loading dock, loads of stuff you don't need for gaming.
That's a background processor.
Exactly. FSE basically lets you bypass all that. You boot straight into the Xbox app, no desktop involved initially.
Okay, that sounds like Microsoft finally getting serious about a Steam Deck competitor on the OS level, making Windows feel more console-like on these handhelds.
Precisely. And the hook for you listening is that this specific feature, FSE, it won't be on other Windows PCs until, early 2026.
Yeah, 2026, that's a pretty significant head start, a real exclusive window.
It really is. It changes the whole feel from PC crammed into a handheld to something much more, dedicated. Streamlined.
Speaking of streamline, let's talk about holding the thing. Sources say it's a bit heavier, 1.58 pounds, but they also seem to love the ergonomics.
Yeah, it is slightly heavier than the original Ally, but apparently the comfort is way better. They've got these new jetting plastic grips.
Jetting plastic grips.
Sounds fancy, but the idea is they're shaped to feel almost exactly like holding a proper Xbox controller. So that added weight doesn't feel as taxing over time.
That makes sense. And the controls themselves, the triggers got an upgrade, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. They're Hall effect triggers now.
Okay, so more durable, no drift potential, like with analog sticks sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Magnetic, not mechanical. Super precise, built to last. And they have the same impulse trigger tech as the official Xbox pads.
Ah, the haptic feedback. So you actually feel things like engine rumble or gunfire in the triggers.
It has a layer of immersion you don't get on many other handhelds. It's a nice premium touch.
So they definitely seem to have nailed the feel. What about the screen? Any changes there?
Nope. Visually, it's the same panel as the last Ally X, which is honestly still excellent. 7 inches, 1080p, 120 hertz refresh rate.
And FreeSync premium support still.
Still got it. And, sticking to 1080p is actually pretty smart here.
Why is that? You'd think they'd push for 1440p maybe.
Well, with the Z2 Extreme chip inside, 1080p is kind of the sweet spot. It lets that processor really stretch its legs, hit high frame rates.
Right, 1440p might just bottleneck it immediately, especially in newer games.
Exactly. You'd be sacrificing smoothness for pixels the chip can't always push effectively. This way, you get a much more consistent high refresh experience.
Makes sense. Okay, so screen's good, feel is improved. What about ports? Did they get the layout right this time?
Seems like it. You get 2 USB-C ports, which is great. One of them is USB 4.0, so it's faster. Plus a micro SD card reader, still essential, and a proper dedicated headphone jack. Thank goodness.
Yeah, always good to have the headphone jack. Okay, let's loop back to that FSE thing and performance. How does it actually work day to day?
So the idea is maximum convenience. The whole initial setup, you can do it entirely with the controller. No touching the screen or plugging in a keyboard.
Okay.
Steam comes pre-installed, and you can apparently install other launchers like Battle.net or the Epic Game Store directly through the FSE interface without ever needing to see the Windows desktop.
That is convenient, but there's got to be a catch, right? It's still Windows underneath.
There is. The sources point out that for some core Windows things, like running Windows Update or maybe installing specific drivers, you still have to exit FSE.
Ah, okay. So you drop back to the standard desktop for system level stuff.
Yeah. It streamlines like 95% of the gaming experience, but that last 5%, it's still there. Could be a bit jarring.
Gotcha. Now, does FSE actually boost performance? I saw some numbers.
It does, yeah. Measurably. In Cyberpunk 2077 on high settings, the frame rate apparently went from about 42 FPS without FSE up to 44 FPS with FSE enabled.
Okay. 42 to 44, that's like a 5% bump. Measurable, like you said, but maybe not something you'd instantly feel.
Probably not dramatically, no. The bigger story, though, is how the Ally X performs overall with that Z2 Extreme chip compared to competitors using the same silicon.
Like the Lenovo Legion Go.
Exactly. Look at Forza Horizon 5. The Ally X is hitting 77 FPS, while the Legion Go gets around 65 FPS. That's an 18% difference.
Whoa, 18%? That's substantial.
It is. And in Cyberpunk, it's a similar gap, 44 FPS on the Ally X versus 37 FPS on the Legion Go. That's nearly 19% faster.
So Same chip, but much better performance on the Ally X. What's driving that?
Better cooling.
Our sources suggest ASUS is just running a much more aggressive thermal design. They're letting that Z2 Extreme chip run hotter faster, basically pushing it closer to its limits than Lenovo is.
Okay, so that optimization, that tuning is where ASUS is pulling ahead. That really makes the benchmark claim stronger, definitely. And maybe the biggest surprise, battery life.
Oh, yeah. Windows handhelds usually struggle there, especially powerful ones.
Right. But playing demanding games like Cyberpunk again, they clocked 2 hours and 34 minutes.
2.5 hours in Cyberpunk. That's actually really good. Isn't that close to the Steam Deck OLED?
It basically ties the Steam Deck OLED in that scenario.
Yeah.
Which is pretty remarkable for a Windows machine running that kind of hardware that hard.
Wow. Okay, so better comfort, killer performance for the chip, exclusive software for now, and surprisingly good battery life. What's the damage? What's the price?
Okay, brace yourself slightly. It's $999.
$999. Okay, that's definitely up there compared to, say, a Steam Deck.
It is. But you have to look at its direct Windows competitors running similar high-end chips.
Right, context is key, like that upcoming Lenovo Legion Go 2.
Exactly. That one's apparently starting at $1,099, and that's with a weaker processor initially. The version with the Z2 Extreme equivalent will likely be even more.
So in that context, $999 for the Ally X, with the best Z2 Extreme performance we've seen, plus the comfort, plus the early FSE access. It actually looks kind of, well, reasonably priced for its class.
Comparatively, yeah. It feels like the most complete high-performance package you can get right now without going significantly over $1,000. It really does combine the improved comfort, that performance lead, and the FSE advantage. It's the one to beat today.
So, wrapping this up, what does it mean for you, the listener? The ASUS ROG Xbox Ally X is clearly a top contender, maybe the top contender right now, thanks to that mix of hardware tuning and the temporary software exclusive. But here's something to think about. If this Xbox full screen experience really is the killer app that makes Windows handhelds truly click, what happens in 2026 when Microsoft potentially rolls it out to all Windows PCs, including other handhelds?
Right.
Will the hardware advantages, the better cooling, the ergonomics of the Ally X, will that still be enough to keep it clearly on top when everyone has access to that streamlined software experience? That's the question to mull over.